Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to explore some seriously strange stuff?
Always.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going deep into the world of UFOs.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to be digging into some fascinating material from the History Channel's The Unexplained.
Okay.
The episode is called Leaked Classified UFO Videos Stun the Public.
Catchy.
Yeah, it is. And we're going to be exploring firsthand accounts.
Right.
We'll look at some alleged government programs and a bunch of mysterious encounters,
Definitely.
all to figure out, I guess, what we know and don't know about these unexplained phenomena in our skies.
Well, and what's been really interesting lately, right, is just how many credible witnesses are coming forward.
Yeah.
And you couple that with, the government basically saying, yeah, we don't know what some of this stuff is.
Right.
It's really pushed UFOs from, kind of the fringe theories.
Yeah.
right into the mainstream.
It's been a huge shift, for sure. It feels like that 2017 New York Times article was a big turning point. You know, the one that revealed that the Pentagon had this secret UFO program?
Oh, yeah, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program.
ATIP.
Yeah, the ATIP program.
But what's crazy is it wasn't just about, identifying potential threats from other countries, right?
It went way beyond that. In 2018, there was this letter to Congress about ATIP, and it listed some of these advanced technologies that they were investigating.
Okay, like what?
I mean, we're talking about things like anti-gravity, invisibility, warp drive, wormholes, even stargates. I mean, it's wild.
Wow.
The fact that the government was seriously looking into, these concepts, it kind of tells you they were taking the possibility of advanced, maybe non-human technology pretty seriously.
Well, it really makes you wonder what they found, right?
For sure.
But, okay, speaking of government secrecy, what about that Kingman UFO crash?
Yeah.
The one in Arizona back in 1953. It doesn't get as much attention as Roswell, but there are all those reports of, a swift military response and then just this complete hush-hush operation afterwards.
It's definitely eerie how similar it is to Roswell. And that incident, the Kingman one, often gets tied into this whole theory about Majestic 12.
Majestic 12.
Yeah, MJ-12, that supposed secret government organization that was created to deal with the whole, alien problem.
Like straight out of the X-Files.
Right. And there are these researchers like Stanton Friedman and Dr. Robert Wood who believe that MJ-12 is totally real, and they claim to have even found government documents that prove its existence.
So what do the documents say?
Well, they supposedly outline procedures for, handling UFO crashes and, get this, even how to deal with extraterrestrial entities.
Whoa, that's intense. Okay, let's fast forward a bit. Let's talk about that 2004 UFO encounter. The one with the U.S. Navy fighter jets off the coast of California?
Oh, the Nimitz encounter, yeah.
Yeah, that one. I mean, the testimony from the pilots involved, Commander David Fravor and Kevin Day, is just mind-blowing.
Their accounts are definitely compelling. I mean, think about it. You have highly trained pilots, radar data backing them up, multiple witnesses all describing the same thing. An object that's just zipping around with speed and maneuverability that just defies physics.
I mean, Fravor even said the thing moved like a ping pong ball, just instantly changing direction.
Exactly.
It wasn't just the pilots, right?
Nope.
Petty Officer P.J. Hughes, he was on the USS Nimitz during the incident. He adds this whole other layer.
Oh, yeah, he was the one handling the radar data.
Right, from that EDC Hawkeye aircraft that was tracking the UFO.
The Hawkeye. Yep.
And he described it as a tic-tac.
A ting-tac.
Yeah, like a big white cylinder with no engines or wings, just hovering and then suddenly taking off at, crazy speed.
So strange.
Oh, wait, there's more. Hughes also said that the hard drives with all that radar data, they just vanished. Air Force officers showed up and took them. No explanation.
Classic cover-up vibes.
Totally. All this talk about government secrecy and cover-ups makes me think of Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, yeah, the ranch in Utah.
512 acres of pure weirdness, right? UFO sightings, cattle mutilations, electromagnetic anomalies, you name it, it's probably happened there.
It's not just the isolated incidents that are fascinating, it's that the location seems to attract all sorts of strange stuff.
And it goes way back, too, right?
Oh, yeah, even the Native American legends talk about this shape-shifting entity called a skinwalker.
Adding a whole other level to the mystery.
Definitely. And then in 1996, Robert Bigelow, the billionaire, who's super into UFOs.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, he bought the ranch and set up the National Institute for Discovery Science, or NIDS, to seriously investigate what was going on there.
Okay, so a legit scientific approach.
Exactly. Bigelow got together a team of researchers and investigators. Colm Kelleher, George Knapp, Dr. Eric Davis, some big names in the UFO world. They've documented all kinds of weird things, orbs of light, animals dying for no reason, even encounters with, well, things they can't really explain.
Okay, now let's shift gears a bit. What about Bonnybridge, Scotland?
That Bonnybridge.
Yeah, the so-called UFO capital of the UK. I mean, they're seeing something like, what, almost a UFO a day?
It's crazy the number of UFO reports that come out of that little town, and it's been going on for years.
I mean, wouldn't you be freaking out if this were happening in your town?
I think I would. And what's really interesting is the variety of sightings. It's not just like your typical disc-shaped UFOs. People have seen strange lights, formations in the sky, even those triangular crafts.
Triangular crafts? Like, what does that even mean?
Right. It's as if Bonnybridge is some kind of like magnet for everything strange.
Maybe it is. And to make it even weirder, Bonnybridge is inside this area called the Falkirk Triangle, which also has a ton of UFO reports.
Right, the Falkirk Triangle. It really makes you wonder what is going on there.
I know, what could it be?
Well, there are theories about like geological features or energy sources underground that might be causing it.
Interesting.
Others think it could be connected to secret military stuff happening at a nearby airbase, the Machrihanish Air Base.
So like secret prototype aircraft getting mistaken for UFOs.
Exactly, like a modern-day version of the U-2 spy plane incident.
Oh, wow. Makes you think, what else are they developing that we don't know about?
Right, yeah, it makes you wonder.
Okay, but what about all the people who say they've seen beings, like actual aliens, not just lights in the sky? Are they all just like making things up or misinterpreting things?
Well, you know, human perception, it's a tricky thing, especially in situations that are, you know, like high stress or when you're seeing something you've never seen before.
Yeah.
But there are also these cases where you have multiple witnesses in different locations all saying they saw the same thing.
Right.
And those accounts, those carry a lot more weight.
True. I guess it's tempting to just dismiss everything as fantasy, right?
Sure.
But maybe we don't have the tools or the knowledge yet to explain everything we're seeing, you know?
I think that's a really important point. It's about finding that balance between being skeptical and being open-minded. We can always be critical, you know, especially when it comes to these extraordinary claims.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have to remember that our understanding of the universe is constantly evolving.
Right. It's like what Arthur C. Clarke said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Exactly.
Maybe what we're seeing now, these UFOs, maybe it's just technology that's so far beyond what we can even imagine. It seems like something, you know, from another world.
And that brings us back to the Nimitz encounter, right? Those videos that were leaked.
Yeah.
Remember, I mean, even the Pentagon was like, yeah, those are real. We don't know what they are.
That was huge. For the government to actually admit that they don't have an explanation.
Yeah, that really lent a lot of credibility to this whole UFO phenomenon.
It did. And it emphasized that there's a lot more happening in our skies than we know, right? I mean, these objects that can like defy gravity and disappear.
It really challenges our whole understanding of physics.
For sure. And, you know, at the end of the day, these are real people, real experiences.
Yeah.
Think about Commander Fravor, right? I mean, facing something that's so far beyond what you thought was possible, that has to change your whole perspective on things.
It would definitely shake you up. And it's not just pilots and military people.
Oh, right.
There's a growing number of everyday people reporting similar encounters.
It's almost like, well, maybe it's not that there are more UFOs. Maybe it's just that more people are willing to talk about it now.
I think that's a really important observation. For a long time, there's a huge stigma, you know? People were afraid to say anything because they thought they'd be ridiculed.
Yeah, totally.
But it seems like that's changing. Maybe because it's in the media more, because more credible witnesses are coming forward.
It's definitely becoming more mainstream.
It is.
Okay, so where do we go from here? What are the next steps in figuring this whole thing out?
Well, I think it comes down to a few things. Continued investigation,
Okay.
open-minded research, and being willing to consider all the possibilities, even the ones that sound crazy. We need more data, more analysis, and we need to really listen to the people who've had these experiences.
I agree. But, okay, let's be real here. Is there any chance we're ever going to get definitive answers about UFOs?
That's the million-dollar question. It's like, well, it's the ultimate mystery.
It is.
Are we alone, or is there someone else out there, maybe even more advanced than us?
It's kind of exciting and terrifying at the same time.
Definitely. But maybe that's part of what makes this so fascinating, right? The unknown.
Yeah, the unknown.
And it keeps us asking questions, keeps us searching.
Keeps us pushing those boundaries.
Oh.
All right, you mentioned crazy possibilities.
Right.
Let's talk about the big one. The government cover-up. It wouldn't be a real UFO conversation if we didn't at least touch on that.
You're right. It's like the bread and butter of UFO lore.
Exactly. But let's try to separate the facts from, well, the wilder theories, you know?
Okay, sounds good. Where should we start?
Well, let's start with Majestic 12. Is there any real evidence that this organization exists?
Well, that's tricky. It's hotly debated.
Yeah.
You know, some researchers, like the ones we mentioned earlier, they've dedicated their whole careers to figuring out this Majestic 12 thing.
Right.
They say they've uncovered real government documents, proof that it's real.
But others say those documents are fakes. Right.
Exactly. It's like a big historical detective game trying to figure out what's real and what's not.
So what about the Kingman crash? Is there anything solid to support the cover-up claims? Like, you know, the military swooping in, silencing witnesses, hiding evidence?
There are definitely some similarities with the Roswell incident. You know, the stories about the military response, the lack of official information.
Just suspicious.
It is. But just like Roswell, the details are, well, they're murky. There's a lot of conflicting information floating around.
I mean, it would make sense for the government to want to keep something like a UFO crash quiet, right?
I mean, imagine the public reaction if it came out that, you know, that we're not alone.
Right, chaos.
That's the argument a lot of people make about a cover-up, that the government is trying to, you know, shield us from the truth.
To prevent panic, right.
Exactly.
But, you know, some people say it's more about power.
Power.
Yeah. Like, if they got their hands on advanced tech from a crashed UFO, they wouldn't want anyone else to know about it.
It would change everything.
Right. It could upset the balance of power globally.
And that takes us right into speculation territory.
It does.
We just don't know. We can only guess at the government's real motivations, but it's definitely something that sparks a lot of debate, gets people's imaginations going.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate for a second here. Let's say there is a cover-up. Who would be running it? Would it be like a small group, you know, like Majestic 12, or would it be something bigger, more widespread?
That's a good question. It gets to the heart of how power really works. Is it centralized, you know, top-down control?
Right.
Or is it more spread out, decentralized?
I mean, to keep a secret this big, you would have to be a massive operation, right?
Yeah.
Silencing people, faking stories, controlling what the media says. How could they keep something like that going for so long?
It would be an enormous undertaking, for sure. A lot of coordination, a lot of control.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about, you know, misinformation, disinformation, propaganda. All those things play a role.
It's true. We're living in this age where information can be manipulated so easily.
Exactly. It can be hard to separate what's real from what's not.
Okay, my head's spinning a little bit.
Mine too.
Let's zoom out a bit.
Right.
What are the bigger implications of all this?
The bigger implications.
Yeah, for, I guess, for science and for humanity.
I mean, wow. If we're really dealing with aliens, with extraterrestrial intelligence, it would completely change our understanding of everything, right? It would change how we see our place in the universe, our whole view of life and technology.
We would be like, you know, the Copernican revolution, but on a whole other level.
Exactly. It would be a total paradigm shift. And it makes you think about some pretty profound questions about the future.
Like what?
Well, like, would contact with an advanced civilization be a good thing?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or a bad thing? Would it lead to, you know, cooperation or conflict?
It's hard to even wrap your head around.
It really is.
Yeah.
But imagine the possibilities, the advances we could make, the things we could learn from a civilization that's, you know, maybe millions of years ahead of us.
I mean, that's incredible. But it could also be super dangerous, right?
Yeah.
What if they're hostile? What if, you know, they see us as a threat? Or worse, as like a resource?
Those are all legitimate concerns for sure. We have to be careful, you know, really think about how we approach any kind of contact. Yeah. But we shouldn't let fear stop us from exploring. The universe is vast, full of mysteries, and it's in our nature to try and understand them.
So where do we go from here? How do we figure out what's really going on?
Well, I think it starts with pushing for more transparency from our governments. We need access to that information they've been keeping for, well, probably decades.
You know, but wouldn't that just make things worse? Wouldn't it just lead to even more conspiracy theories?
I mean, it's possible, but I really think that, you know, the truth is the best way to dispel rumors and fear.
Yeah.
The more information we have, the better we can understand what's really happening. We can figure out what's true and what's not.
Okay, what about scientists? What can they do?
Scientists have a huge role to play. They need to be investigating this stuff using, proper scientific methods. We need more research, more analysis, a more open-minded approach.
But isn't there still, like, a stigma around UFOs for a lot of scientists?
Yeah, there is, unfortunately.
They're afraid of ruining their reputations.
Yeah, exactly. Or of losing funding.
So what can regular people do to help? Should we all become, like, amateur UFO hunters? Just, staring at the sky every night.
Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with a little sky watching, but I think the most important thing is to stay informed, to think critically about the information you're getting, and to have open and honest conversations about this stuff.
And to keep an open mind.
Definitely. The universe is full of surprises. We have to be ready for anything, even things that might challenge our beliefs.
Okay, so we've talked about government programs, weird encounters, cover-ups, even the possibility of aliens.
It's been a whirlwind.
But let's circle back to one place that just seems to be, a magnet for the strange and unusual.
Where's that?
Skinwalker Ranch.
Ah, Skinwalker Ranch.
It's like the poster child for paranormal activity.
It really is. It captures the imagination. People are still fascinated by it. And, the scientific investigations are still ongoing.
Okay, so remind me, what kinds of things are we talking about here?
Oh, we're talking about everything. Shape-shifting entities, unexplained lights, weird anomalies, all kinds of stuff.
Is it like a portal to another dimension or something? A testing ground for alien technology?
That's exactly what researchers are trying to figure out. The latest investigations, the ones led by Brandon Fugel and his team,
Yeah.
they're using cutting-edge tech, a multidisciplinary approach, to really try and unlock the ranch's secrets.
So like cameras, sensors, all that stuff.
All that. They've got a whole team of experts from all different fields, physicists, biologists, working together to, gather data and analyze what's happening.
It's like straight out of the X-Files, but with real science.
Right. And they've already found some pretty interesting stuff. Unusual electromagnetic activity, animals dying for no apparent reason. Even some of the researchers have gotten hurt.
Wait, hurt? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, there have been reports of burns, rashes, and even some weird neurological stuff that seems to happen in connection with, with some of the events at the ranch.
Ugh, okay, that's getting creepy.
It's like there's something there that we don't understand, some force that can affect, both the physical and biological world.
I mean, do you have any theories about what it could be?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
I don't think anyone has a definite answer yet, but, we need to keep our minds open, think about all the possibilities, even the weird ones.
Okay, let's start with, I guess, the more rational explanations.
Right.
Could it just be like some unusual geological features that are causing these electromagnetic effects? And maybe those are what's leading to some of the other weird stuff people are seeing.
It's definitely possible. There's evidence that the ranch is sitting on, a confluence of lie lines.
Like lines.
Yeah, those hypothetical lines of energy that some people believe, run all over the earth. Some researchers think they could explain the high electromagnetic activity.
Okay, so that's a bit more grounded.
Yeah.
But what about the stuff that's harder to explain, like the shape-shifting creatures and the UFOs?
Yeah, those are definitely more challenging.
They are.
But maybe there are things, forces, energies, dimensions that we just don't understand yet,
Like we're getting a glimpse of something beyond what we normally see.
Exactly. And it's both fascinating and a little bit scary, isn't it?
It is. So is Skinwalker Ranch a place to be scared of?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it a place to, to study and try to understand?
I think it's both. It's a place that deserves our respect,
Right.
It seems to have a power to it, and it keeps revealing these mysteries. But it's also a place that gives us this amazing chance to study the unknown, to really push the limits of science.
I think you've convinced me. I'm adding it to my bucket list.
Just be sure to pack your scientific equipment and, maybe a little bit of good luck charm too.
Will do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone from like the bottom of the ocean to outer space,
We have.
from ancient mysteries to the cutting edge of science. But before we wrap up this deep dive, let's just take a minute to, reflect on what it all means.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has.
And I think the biggest takeaway is that we're surrounded by the unknown. I mean, the universe is a vast, mysterious place, and we're just starting to understand it.
Yeah, from strange signals coming from space to all these weird things happening here on Earth.
It seems like we're surrounded by the unexplained, but instead of being, scared of it, we should see it as a chance to explore, to learn.
It's like that drive to understand, that's what pushes us forward as a species.
Exactly. And when it comes to UFOs and, the search for other life, well, we're at the very beginning of one of the biggest adventures in human history.
I mean, think about it. It could change everything, how we see ourselves, where we came from, where we're going.
And it's definitely a journey worth taking, no matter how difficult it might be.
Okay, so what's next? Where do we go from here?
Well, I think the first thing is to admit that we don't have all the answers. We have to be humble, and we have to be willing to say, hey, we don't understand that. But that doesn't mean we give up. We keep asking questions, searching for evidence, pushing the boundaries of our knowledge.
We keep exploring.
Exactly. And we have to do it together, as a global community.
I love that.
Sharing information, working together to understand the universe, our place in it.
It's a big job, but it's exciting. Who knows what we might discover?
Only time will tell. But, the journey itself, that's what really matters.
So true. Well, we've covered a lot, but I have a feeling we've only just scratched the surface.
Oh, we have. This is a topic you could spend a lifetime exploring.
And we've only got, a little bit of time here. But hopefully, we've given everyone a good overview, some different things to think about.
I hope so.
And maybe, sparked a little bit of curiosity.
That's what it's all about, right?
That's what it's all about. The thrill of the unknown, the pursuit of knowledge, all those possibilities out there in the universe.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll have those answers. Or maybe, the mystery will just get deeper and lead us down some even more interesting paths.
Either way, it's going to be one heck of a ride.
It is.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap things up. But before we go, I want to leave everyone with one last thought.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
If we really are being visited by beings from another world, I mean, what are they trying to tell us? What are we supposed to be learning from them? And, the big question, are we even ready to listen?
Wow, that's a deep one. A really important question for all of us to consider as we keep exploring this whole, UFO thing, as we keep trying to figure out our place in the universe. Maybe the answers are already out there, just waiting for us to find them.
Or maybe, like you said, the real journey is the one we take while we're searching.
Exactly. It's about challenging our ideas, expanding how we see the world, trying to understand, the bigger picture.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the world of UFOs. Keep looking up, keep your minds open, and keep that curiosity alive.
And remember, the truth is out there, somewhere.
Thinking about all these incredible stories, it makes me think about Bonnie Bridge again.
Bonnie Bridge.
Yeah, Scotland. Hundreds of UFO sightings every year in like a tiny town. What is it about that place?
It's not just how many sightings there are, right? It's also the sheer variety of what people are seeing, like classic discs, weird lights, formations, even triangular crafts.
Triangular crafts. I know. It's like, what does that even mean?
Right. Bonnie Bridge just seems to be like this magnet for the strange.
It does. And then there's the Falkirk Triangle, right?
Yeah.
Even more UFO reports. Is there something about that location?
Well, some folks think it might be, something geological, like maybe unusual rock formations or energy sources underground. Others think it might be, something to do with the military. There's that air base nearby, Makrihanich.
Marihanich, okay. So, are we talking secret experiments, prototype aircraft that people are mistaking for UFOs?
It's possible, right? I mean, history's full of those stories where people see something, some new technology, and they think it's aliens.
Like the U-2 spy plane back in the 50s, right?
Exactly. People saw that thing and they thought it was from outer space. So, yeah, maybe something similar is going on today.
Okay, but what about the witnesses who say they've seen, actual beings?
Yeah.
Not just lights or objects, but, creatures.
Oh, that's a tough one. Our brains, they're easily tricked, right? Especially when we're stressed or we see something we don't understand.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you have multiple people in different places all saying they saw the same strange thing. And those cases, those are harder to dismiss.
Yeah, they are. I guess it's easy to jump to conclusions, say it's all just fantasy.
It is.
But maybe we're just missing something. Maybe we don't have the knowledge to explain it yet.
That's a good point. I think it's about finding that balance, right? Between being skeptical and being open to, to new possibilities. We should always question things, especially when the claims are extraordinary.
Yeah.
But we also have to remember that science is always evolving. What seems impossible today, well, maybe it's just normal tomorrow.
It's like, like they say, the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this whole topic so exciting, right? There's so much we still don't understand about the universe.
Yeah. And that's good, right? It keeps us curious. It Keeps us exploring.
It does, and who knows, maybe one day we'll have the answers. Or maybe the mystery will just get, even deeper, more fascinating.
Either way, it's going to be an amazing journey.
It really is.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today, from firsthand accounts to government programs, to mysterious encounters, to the possibility of a cover-up. It's been a lot.
It has been quite a deep dive, and we've only just scratched the surface of this incredibly complex and fascinating topic.
Yeah, we have. But hopefully we've given everyone some new things to think about, some different perspectives.
I hope so.
And maybe even, sparked a little curiosity to go out there and learn more. If there's one thing I hope everyone takes away from this, it's that the universe is, it's full of mysteries, full of amazing things just waiting to be discovered.
It is.
So keep your eyes on the skies, keep those minds open, and never stop asking questions.
And remember, the truth is out there, somewhere.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.